and welcome to Outside the Box. I'm your host, Kate of Gaio, and we got Peter online with us, hoping that Tony's going to show up, and hopefully Santo as well, which will make one hell of a show. We had a great show this morning, Peter?
Yeah, that's right. We got the let out, I think.
It was beyond outstanding, personally. I went on one of my very, very typical bitch rants, and I just, I'm trying to get it across to people. We have the answers, and all people have to do is stand. And we're going to try to empower you again tonight, because we're going to talk a lot about the same things, just reinforcing it so that nothing has changed. We know who we are. It's up to you to find out who you are, and you're not going to do that until you actually start doing that, not just sitting around going, gee, I wonder who I am. Gee, maybe if I just meditate, and if I do, it's called intent, and when you have intent, you put it into action. That's how you create things. It's like, and a woman sitting across the room from each other deciding to have a child isn't going to do much until they actually put some intention into it, if you know what I'm saying. Just saying.
Some commerce. You talking about some commerce?
Little intercourse, yeah.
Right.
Look at you going right into the commerce. I love you.
I love commerce. Yeah, they love commerce.
Yeah, well, my feeling on money and well, I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
It is the root of all evil. The minute we have to move outside of ourselves to go into,
operate, right, in a man-woman / capacity or any capacity for the right to breathe. Nobody should be a slave.
Yeah, and how dare you actually think that you're a god and can create things because you can, and this is the point we're really trying to drive home here. This is far and above and beyond the physical illusion, and there are very few people I've met in my life. They're getting a little bit more numerous now. They're starting to wake up, but coming across people like Santo and Tony and Peter here, and so many others that actually know who they are to a level that I can communicate with them. And when I speak of the ethereal, they get it, and that's what we're trying to get you guys to cross over the bridge into the spiritual realm instead of living in this meat stick, drive it around, and let someone push it around for you kind of world that you are agreeing with. All your woes are things that you agree with. See, here's one of the epiphanies that I've had very recently with regards to me. Based on the nature of the being that I am, I'm a two-spirit, and this is one of the things I'm going to reach out to the other two spirits that listen. I know there are at least two very dear soul friends of mine. They get it. They understand it. But here's the thing about a two-spirit, which is the walking singularity of the duality. We cannot create. In terms of I'll give both examples. You have female to male and male to female, right? Which is kind of how they describe it out there in the physical world. But what it is you have the feminine creative moving in, which is magnetic, moving into electrical, which is the female to male, and vice versa. You have the male intensive electrical moving into the creative. And what happens is, as two spirits, and I do want to get this across because this is very important information, coming from the horse's mouth, as it were, the big mouth, right, Rory? I thought you'd like that. Okay, so what you have happening here is I have left behind all the electro aspect of me to step into the creative void, which is creation itself, the void of creation. And the only thing that can manifest for me are things that can manifest through me with intention from others. So I am literally at the whim and the mercy of the universe for you to create for you. And so very few will do that, which I find kind of odd. What would you desire? Well, you flow intent towards me, it goes back 1,000-fold. That's how creation works, or more. Actually, it's a lot more than that. I just use that as an example. But just to try to put it in relative terms. So that's for anyone that hasn't been introduced to a two-spirit host of sorts. Peter's used to my shit, so it's all good.
Oh yeah, hey, I'm
you know who I am.
I got the memo.
You got the memo. I'm bitch through and through, and get me going, and I'll prove it. I promise. But I can fix your truck too. Isn't that cool?
That scares me. Now I'm getting scared. I don't like them hairy knuckles.
Well, I don't have any of that, but and I can build you a house. I'm a general contractor. By trade, a couple of decades of that. Isn't it funny that I was in construction? Here we are dealing with constructive trust and construction bonds, all under contract. the bid, performance, and payment bonds. So I tell you what, Peter, let's just rip shit right into that and try to wake people up and have some fun with it while we're at it. Because we had I don't know about you, man, but I had an absolute blast this morning. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, all those forms are located for anybody's edification on I think it's www.gov forms, something like that. They got to look it up, but it's all there. It's PDF forms, and you got your 24, 25, 25A, your standard 428 surety bond, your 273 4 and 5, which is your Miller reinsurance bonds, and they like us looking at this stuff, folks, because they want us to educate ourselves.
Yeah, and that's half the battle. Everyone's looking at them, oh, they're all evil. I said, no, they have a role to play in waking us up as much as we have a role to play to wake them up. And you got to lose this good or evil. It's good and evil. You have to look at it. You know, how are you looking at the Earth? From the North Pole, which is going to give you the counterclockwise perspective, or you can look at it from underneath the South Pole, looking up, giving you the clockwise perspective. As above, so below. They're both equal and opposite at the same time. That's the nature of singularity in a duality universe, is what we live in here. And we're moving into more of a Trinity universe, and this is where people have to start coming to. And listen, guys, I'm going to put this out right now. My blog page, loveovermind.wordpress.com, is currently available right now, and all the forms that Peter's going to talk about are all there. You're going to have to do a little searching. Okay, they're all there though, and I'm tired of holding hands for those that tell you what, I told you they're there. Go and look. That means you're doing something. You're actually in the intent of it. Matters to you. You're going to earn it. And I'll tell you something else. loveovermind.wordpress.com is going to be very soon behind a window for subscribers only, because people don't want this for free. So guess what? If you want this shit now, you better grab it, because very shortly you're going to have to subscribe to get it, because obviously it's not working that people just, think that everything's there for free and you won't do anything with it. It's like someone giving you a car. You'll drive the shit out of it. But if you work for it and actually have to pay for it, you'll take care of it. So I want you to take care of the truth. And that's where we're at. And I think that's fair.
Yep.
It won't be outrageous either, but I'll tell you this right now, for all of you that over the last 2 weeks, and I got to tell you, I'm going to say it again for everyone listening, and we have thousands listening, over the last 2 weeks, a whopping $240 from the same people, always the same people, putting into the kitty, and everything I'm talking about excludes all those that have already flowed and continue to, because they get it, and they're getting the thousandfold return. Now that I know exactly who and what it is I am, I shall manifest that for you, because I am creation, you're the intent, flow through me. It's yours. Whatever you want, whatever your heart's desire is, as long as it's within the peace, love, truth, and honor motif, it's all yours. If it is just for self-service, not interested, ain't going to happen. When you decide that you can help everybody else, because in doing so you're helping yourself, then it will manifest. You got to get the 7 cosmic laws in alignment, and I'm here to kind of snap you into that. So, don't worry.
That's good. Well, hey, we're running a same parallel. Sui juris.me no longer exists. Pull it from your minds. Rip it from the blogs. It doesn't exist. However, there is a new sheriff in town, and truth is spoken there, so don't be afraid. It's just knowledge, folks. Matter of fact, I sent it to you, Kate. So, Matter of fact, it's postable. And my brother Michael so eloquently put together my own little Peter's page of all things, Peter's page. So I can give edification on a whole different level. I love it, Peter's page. I mean, what the hell? I said,
very slick little site, by the way, and I'm already regged in with it. Okay, so I'm already on your chancery rolls with your site, and that as well is going to be behind the subscribe curtain, because Peter, like myself, has thrown everything in. We've got everything on the table, and we're betting on our royal flush against their busted pair of twos, or better yet, a busted bluff. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to show you guys and tell you guys once again how to bust their bluff. And Peter, I don't know about you, but have you ever found lawyers and judges and cops and everything else to be really, really profound liars?
Oh, they're the best concealers, and there is no truth in them. Matter of fact, it's all just one big card game. So I don't buy the card game because I bring my own cards, and I got the deck stacked. I got all the aces. They've got none. They're just trying to trick me to fold before they see my 4 aces. So, that's the whole game. They want you to fold through trickery. And see, folks, I was not in touch with this reality until about literally the underside of the black belly of the beast, until I got some real exposure firsthand, like being drawed on, 2 guns with 2 pigs in a poke, forcing me to comply with a document, i.e. sign it so they can get my sin. Some years back in the lovely state of Louisiana, say hey to all you folks in Louisiana, because they are the best corrupt crooks that money can buy too. I had a tendency to ask the right questions, and poor Kenny, his name is Kenny. I remember. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give a shout out. Hey Kenny, what's up? Kenny Malone, Malone, and the lovely thriving metropolis of Alexandria, Louisiana. And Kenny didn't like my questions. I don't know why. I mean, everybody likes my questions. I always have the answer when I do ask those questions. And Kenny didn't want to answer my questions, and he was not real happy that I didn't want to play ball and be drafted for performance and contract with him. So he calls for a backup, one of his brothers in arms, to force Peter into forced compliance at the end of a gun to sign a freaking ticket. Folks, that's when my epiphany happened. That was when my eye-opening came. I said, how the hell can these clowns of the circus force compliance at the end of a gun to sign a document? Folks, that's no different than paramount than some guy coming into your house and holding a gun to your daughter's head and having her give voluntary compliance to a rape. It's the same damn thing. It's just, with them, it's an emotional rape. It's psychological, folks. And it's happened to millions of us across this country, U.S., U.K., Canada.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. I call that bullies with badges. I mean, when you can force and reduce a man to do something against his free will act and deed at the end of a gun, then we have a real problem in our world. So that's fascism to the extreme, folks.
Just to add to this, and I mean, no offense to my Sicilian Mafia and Calabrese brothers out there, all the cops are uniformed mafia, but see, the thing I love about the mafia is they have a code of honor, and firsthand, they have a beautiful code of honor, and they will stand in it. And here's the difference: they will stand in it to the death. They won't run away, hiding behind their kindreds in uniform. So they're uniform mafia, basically. They're racketeers, they're privateers. They are armed criminals with uniform that think they have license to just rob you when they feel like it, just because they have cars with funny lights on them, and they walk around wearing these silly black uniforms and packing 9mm penis extensions. Please, boys, girls that put the uniform on, there are those in there that have honor, that have an understanding of it, and it's upon you guys on the within to get busy and start looking at your kindred for the theft and rape and pillage that's going on. And there cannot be any plausible deniability because the truth is out there. We've been delivering the truth into your belly for years now, and you're either going to wake up and stand to post in the truth, or you're going to go down. You're either in conjunction with truth, or you're in opposition. And if you want to look at it from an astrological viewpoint, you best be in conjunction if you want things to go your way, because if you stay in opposition, universe will, you see, we don't have to do anything. This is the joy of cosmic law. We don't have to do anything except stand in truth. That's what powers us up. And as a result of us powering up, you will collapse. You will fall. You are creating your own doom. We don't have to do a thing.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to carry that through, Peter. Anyway, getting back to your armed buddy Kenny Malone, typical Irishman too. And I'm speaking of my kindred there, because that's the island I showed up here. They call it Ireland. It's a little chunk of rock out in the North Atlantic. Pretty cool place. I love it.
Well, I wish I had known about the boxing. Then I would have had no problems giving over, i.e., contracting with Kenny if I knew about the box. I didn't know about the box 7 years ago. If they really want some love from me, I'll be glad to give it to them in the box. Because it'll be a dead letter, no rehypothecation going on there.
Yeah, and there's no coincidence there that a two-spirit being has been standing outside the box for a lifetime in a literal and figurative sense. Actually brought this forward, and amongst others, I'm just trying to make it really known to people. I've been talking about this for a couple of years. The power of the box, guys. Put your border around your nation, which is your name. Peter, why don't you explain to the wonderful people? We got a lot of new listeners tonight. I know that for a fact because I get the emails. But why don't you explain to the lovely people what monetizing your signature means by defining the word hypothecation?
Yeah, folks, it's just basically a hypothecation, just your signature on a piece of paper. Everything that moves in commerce moves forward by your signature, your SIN. So in order to draft you for performance through their Federal Reserve System, they can hypothecate everything to the tune of 9 times. I've heard they've increased it. Who knows? Whatever. It's their math equation from hell. You put $1,000 in the bank, and now they've got $9,000 to play with. Boy, I wish I had that power. I mean, create crap out of thin air and then calling it something of no substance and calling it something of value. But this is literally what they've been doing. You gotta love it.
We got the example of the Fed Reserve, and when they had the Federal Reserve Act. Now, when they create this fictitious government check thing called cash, it's got 2 signatures. It's a corporate check, guys. You're dealing in government checks when you're using cash. Best stop doing that. I'm just letting you know, because if you're operating with government checks, you are a government employee, and they will, do what they will with you. That's the way it works. Where was I going here? Federal Reserve, lawful money. I forget the actual code. I've got the link to it. Tara found. Someone sent it to Tara. She found it and forwarded it to me. I think you've got it as well. But here's the thing: the Fed Reserve prints all this bogus bullshit on paper, and whenever they want paid for something, it has to be paid to them in lawful money, i.e., silver and gold. So if you're wondering why they have tons and tons and tons of gold at the Fed Reserve Bank, whereas Fort Knox is nothing but a bunch of gold-plated titanium bars, that might explain things, And if you want proof of the gold-plated titanium bars, talk to the Hong Kong government, because it took a shipment 2 years ago, and they started drilling into these bars because gold is very difficult to detect electronically for its purity, or you can deceive the detectors by putting a thick enough plating on it where it reads, 24 karat gold. But what the Chinese did, and very, very, very smart people for doing so, because I wouldn't trust anything out of the Metals Exchange or the COMEX out of New York either. They decided to drill a few of these bars. Lo and behold, they were titanium, because titanium is only one away from gold on the periodic chart, and is very similar on an atomic level to gold. So in terms of doing density tests in liquids, it'll read identical to gold, because it's feeling like literally an electron or 2 away. So it's not that big a deal on a 100-ounce bar of gold. So just so you know, the Federal Reserve demands from the U.S. government, the corporation, demands gold, silver, the way, that was lawful money at one time. And we're going to get rid of that whole notion as well, but we're transitioning back. Baby steps, guys. But we can also, as a result of the government checks that they write, we can also demand lawful money as well. I'll dig up. It'll go on the blog page shortly. But I just wanted to share that with you, Peter. So getting back to hypothecation.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm just pulling up. I'm actually pulling up the birth certificate bond securitization scam, and like I say, we covered this. We actually did a whole class on this document.
Yeah, and we've covered that. Oh, I want to say hi to 3 brand new contacts that just showed up, like in the last half hour. Some in the 2 in the last 5 minutes. I'd like to say hi to Duncan. I guess it would be Roxanne, Alex, and Tracy. So I'm letting you people know the number of contacts I get every day is going up, because people are awakening. They are awakening on a grand scale. And what I was talking about with Peter this morning, I need you guys to really get this. While you're pulling that document up, Pete, I think we need to go over that again. But while you're pulling that up, what I need people to get is that the thing you're walking around in that you call your body is actually a carbon heat engine. I call them meat sticks that we drive. And when you're done driving it, you drop it and you leave, but the meat stick stays behind, unless you've never been to a funeral home and never seen a meat stick get all cold and solid. Like, you're not taking it. What I'm saying. You, the divine spark of Creator God, ye are gods. A lot of good teachers told you that. Pay attention. Actually, have the ability called consciousness. That's what you are, and that's who you are. You're part of the One. Okay? And when you decide to do something, that's your consciousness making that decision. That's you making that choice. And what happens is you make the choice, and then you go into the physical universe, and you make that choice known. That's by your actions you shall be known, right? So you, the spirit, will be known by your actions. So when you sign something, sine wave, energy, okay, when you sign something, that is your intent that was created before the act. All right, that's why it's so powerful. That's how they've been trapping everyone with their black magic and turning you backwards, inside out, upside down, ripping you to shreds in the mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Pay attention. So I just want to know where you're at, Peter, with that document. That's the commercial one you pulled up?
Yeah. I'm just going to go to subsection 5, which is succinct. I don't want to go get long-winded on this. I just want to give specificity. In subsection 5 on this document, it's number 4, page 4 of 14, and it says recording a general deposit, i.e. relinquishing title. Folks, the registrar records the HBR, which is the birth bond, in the account as a general deposit, and meaning the state takes title to the funds, your future labor / commercial energy, because they got you as a resident, using your res, that's your energy, the same way a bank takes title to your deposits when you use the bank's endorsement stamp to print, pay to the order of Acme Bank or whatever, on the back of a check before depositing in your account. Have you ever wondered why checks are made payable to the bank instead of your account? The pay to the order of notation is just a material alteration under the Uniform Commercial Code, and it creates a brand new security wherein the bank takes your funds for its own purposes and disguises the acquisition by issuing credits to you. So, folks, you do the $1,000 deposit, and you just gave over to them. By the way, nobody's ever read their banking contract. Yeah, well, I read mine back in 1995 and said, nope, I'm not a party to this scam. I says I hadn't held a bank account after that, so I've not been a good compliant slave into the binding up of the system of hypothecation on multiple levels. But this is what happens, folks, is when you lay over your checking account, when you sign up for a checking account, give over everything, all that all the funds that is created out of thin air, it sits in their no man's land accounts, which they hypothecate to the tune of 9 times. Like I say, you do it. Yeah, it'd be a beautiful thing, but they don't let you do it. Only they can create crap out of thin air and call it valid, so-called monetary system. So the whole point being is you gave over when you registered with the bank to set up your account. You don't own it. So we were talking about this the last couple of weeks. If there's anybody paying attention, because I believe that through some trickery they might do a false flag on the computer systems throughout the country and say, well, Iran did it. They're the agent provocateur, and then you can't get no funds from your account for one weekend. Well, we'll be back open Monday, and then they will be able to lay over to access and fleece all the accounts that have been laid over. And you gave it over, folks. You didn't even read the contract. You didn't read the damn contract. They expect you never to read anything. This is like I've been saying all along. I read everything now because the words mean everything to me. So just like when you fired up to get a driver's license, you gave over yourself as a vessel in commerce, and it says it right on the stinking document. But everybody's in such a rush to get from their next place of busydom that they never read the contract. They never see how the ties that bind work against them and causing them deleterious effects. So what you got going on since the birth of you were born, folks, is hypothecation in your name, and everything, receipt, ticket, Walmart, whatever, everything you're doing is all actively hypothecated to the tune of 9 times. So it's no wonder the system about has to break, because they have created derivatives in the tunes of probably well over 200 trillion. Everybody thinks we're only in the hole to 16, 17 trillion. What a
That's closer to 700 trillion at last check.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it's a quadrillion. You know, whatever. The whole point being, folks, is they now have us on a new fast track with the prison industrial complex to hypothecate even more, because every court case is worth money. And this is what we're talking about with this bond stuff, because every case gets hypothecated because it's been given over from your inception, i.e. your birth certificate bond. So every time you show up to court, step into the bow and claim to be this corporate fiction, because only like entities can interface with other like entities. They can't interface with a live flesh and blood man. They can only interface with another dead entity. And they are not government. They are corporation. They are for private. They're all bad actors, like I've been saying all along. And they left the bow. They just didn't tell you they did the bait and switch on you. The whole system is one huge bait and switch. So that's all right. That's why we're creating this format for everybody to basically get the memo to basically uncover that, hey, I'll be glad to deal with you as soon as you can provide your dadgum hazard bond that allows you to bring this case forward, because he who brings the charge pays the bill.
Exactly. And, I was going to say something I do want to, I just like jumping in because you bring up some beautiful points. I'm just trying to give people some practical things that they can do while, what you're talking about. And something that people need to realize is the birth bond that got you into slavery. There's no question about it. You were born in original sin into slavery. We've got that kind of figured at this point. But the bottom line is this: the bond that got you into slavery is exactly the tool that will get you out in a couple of ways. But what I'm going to try to explain to you, not everyone's going to be able to grasp this or do this, and it's not important that you do. It's only important that one of us does it. This is what you have to get about the one consciousness. You can make a difference in the world, period, because you are part of the consciousness. And what this whole game has done to you that have doubts and fears has told you that you can't do that, but you can. You are God. We are all God. We are all light. And God is light. Ye are gods. A few teachers, that Jesus fella and Muhammad and Buddha and Hare Krishna, they all said the same thing, that ye are gods, you're light. So pay attention. What I want to get to here with regards to the bond is the simple fact that you do not own anything. Okay, they did you a favor by registering everything to try to tell you that you cannot own anything, and you can't, because that goes completely against what a god is. Because if a god feels that it needs to own something, then it lacks its ability to create. So that's what they've done, is they've convinced you, this is my property, I'm going to put a fence around it, I'm going to put, completely defiant of nature, I'm going to put right angles in there, and which there are no right angles in nature. And they get you convinced into this little box way of thinking, right? They put you inside a box. That's why we call the show Outside the Box, right? And what they do is they get you to think that, and that that apparently you have to wake up in the morning and call the mayor to ask permission to go pee. Apparently a lot of people do that. I don't. I just kind of do my thing, and I apply that rule all day long, because I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just doing my thing. So with the bond, all right, what you have there is it's a trust, and they literally discharge the baby, you, when you were born. If you were born in the hospital, they discharge you, which means effectively you're dead. As soon as mom leaves the hospital with you, you're dead. That's it. The paperwork's there. I've seen it. It's all there, right? The deed poll, all of it. All right. So that's what happens. You effectively are dead. And what they do is they create this bond. Typically, it starts at about $1 million, based on the life expectancies and what you're going to, achieve. And also, when you look at the mother's application, they also grade that bond. Did the mother smoke during pregnancy? Yes. Okay. Well, the bond's worth a little bit less. What level of education does the mother have? Okay. Well, there's a potential for the child to be in a better home, a better upbringing, therefore make more money. The bond is more valuable. I'm not shitting you people. That's what they do. They literally grade the baby. We're talking grade A beef, cattle, chattel. They sound the same for a reason. And CH in Italian is a K sound, like Chianti, right? So you are cattle. End of story there. All right, so what they've done is they've created this bond. It starts off at typically $1 million or whatever, and it grows from there. When it gets invested, which is absolute bullshit, but they invest it, and that's where these derivatives come from and all this other money. But what happens is they have to put that aside as a trust. They don't tell you about it. It's a secret will. It's a secret trust. And what I'm trying to tell you right now is that's secret. So pay attention. You'll like this. So you cannot own anything. They register it, and they save you the bother, and they tell you, you're God, you can't own anything. But, we're here to have a human experience. We are divine light, here to have a human experience. So, in that light, we can use anything we like, as long as we're not harming anyone else and stepping on their free will choice. Okay, but here we are, fighting in the sandbox over Tonka trucks and Barbie dolls. Okay, a little childish. So I just want to try to let you know that, and there are means to do this, but this is not about, oh, look what I can get. No, this is about taking the system down, because it's corrupt to begin with. Why would you want to use debt? It's what put us into slavery. Getting rid of it is what's going to get us out of it. Debt is slavery. That's why they had debtors' prisons. And that's basically what is happening now is because of everyone else's debt, they're ramming the prisons full of people. And typically I think a juvenile, you get $700, $800 a day in a prison. For an adult, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 a day. And what are they paying out, Peter? What, 23 cents to $1.15 an hour for the sweatshop labor?
Yep.
So they're making money hand over fist. Well, debt anyway. So, and that's what I tell people too. Do you like debt? Do you like getting bills in the mail? No? Oh, okay. Well, why do you shove them in your purse and wallet? They call them $20 for a reason. Pay attention. Listen. Observe. And what we have, and Peter, I do want to talk to you at some point a little bit later tonight. I want to go over this little notice that I'm putting together. It's almost done. And I want to get your input. And it's basically a template for everyone to use for every situation, because all law is what, Peter?
It's all color of law. It's not law at all. It's created out of thin air.
Commercial?
Like the bonds, it's color of money, color of law, and they created this crap in their crafty legislative tool as a statute so they can draft you for performance, because the statute has a monetary stipend attached to it.
So it's all commercial. There is no criminal law. It's all commercial.
Yep.
So that was the point I was trying to get across. And everything that you deal, that's why they charge you with things, right? Like you charge your credit card, like they charge you with the crime. There's a reason for it. It's because it all involves energy, spiritual. Again, you have to tie both the ethereal and the physical together here, guys. As above, so below. Pay attention. And what they're banking on us, literally, of not finding out is exactly what I just told you. So look at you, being more knowledgeable than most people on the planet right now. It's amazing. I look out the door here sometimes, and I just see people walking along, and I all I can feel, the empath, is like, oh, they haven't got a clue what's going on. They're just moping through life. But at least you guys that are listening are smart enough to go, something wrong in Kansas here. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. So anyway, just something to keep in mind. So carry on there, Peter, with that bonding. Which one did you pull up?
The 14-page birth certificate securitization scam, which is, I think, available on your site. I passed it on to you in a PDF format. So a brother of mine wrote it up over here in the States, one of the smarter guys in the room, and he said he was going to cover some issues regarding birth certificate securitization, and he come up with this little nugget. Folks, this is the nickel tour. You read that 14-page document, you'll have total clarity on exactly how this thing operates, on the hypothecation. And it's a short read, but it's very valid, and it's applicable, and you don't have to be a Wharton School of Finance graduate to actually get it.
Exactly. And again, it is available on loveovermind.wordpress.com for a limited time. because very soon, only those that are actually flowing energy, they actually see value in what it is that I and Peter and the rest of us are doing, are going to be able to partake of the feast because, listen, it's at a point now where we've tried to pay for the tickets, and we have, and in my case, to the tune of millions, literally, okay? Family, house, you name it, all gone, all in, okay? And obviously people don't think that's worth anything, so I'm going to make it worth something. And so for a limited time only, this is the Blue Light Special, boys and girls. You better get over to loveovermind.wordpress.com and get all the information you can, because very shortly now, you're going to miss the boat, because I'm going to, or it's either that or you're going to have to buy a ticket, because I'm tired of rowing this boat and everyone's showing up with deck chairs and pina coladas saying row faster. You know what, guys? I'm going to say it in 2 easy words. Disclaimer, I don't have a disclaimer. If you can't handle the heat, get out of this bonfire. But quite frankly, if you want to come on my boat and you want to bring your deck chair and suntan lotion and your pina colada and tell me to row faster, I'm just going to say, fuck you, get off my boat. And that's where we're at, guys. So everyone that's not chipping in, bottom line is this, and I'm talking straight to your ego, not you, the most beautiful being that actually gets this and why you're here, but I'm going to talk to the ego. I'm going to say to your ego, go fuck yourself. Okay, who do you think you are, you little program? Get off my boat. You're slowing me down, and you're slowing everybody else down that's trying to row. And isn't it funny that those that are helping me and Peter and others row are the ones that are rowing themselves? I'm tired of the oarsmen passing the hat to each other, trying to stay alive with one crumb or two. Okay, guys? So you either get on the boat, pay the fare a little bit, make it yours, or grab a fucking oar and do something.
Yep.
Point made.
Yep.
All right? Tired
Anyways,
of it.
I couldn't have said it more succinctly. Folks, we've done all this because we have love in our hearts, but apparently our love just ain't big enough. So, and we don't believe in charging our brothers. We've given everything away for free. I mean, we put our sweat equity in the game and created a knowledge base that would embarrass any DA, any judge, because you're not supposed to ever know this stuff. And now we're going to create a whole platform. So you're going to get the nickel tour, but you're going to get the nickel tour at a cost, because now we're going to require some of your sweat equity, and we're going to actually put it in a condensed fashion that you actually get the memo. So I don't have to deal with 1,000 memos from everybody in the world wanting it for free. So yeah, you know what? You will be able to step on board, get your educational learning curve on, but it's going to cost you. Because you know what? Freedom ain't free, folks. It really isn't. And you know what? I paid thousands, literally to the tune of probably over $10,000 on my education, and it was just for education. It wasn't for learning how to fill out this form and fill out that form. It was so that I could get my mind right and make a paradigm shift in my head, knowing who the hell I was. So, I paid the price, I paid the fees, and it was all good. And I never bitched to the parties that were providing most outstanding, succinct information. I dealt with the banker of 17 years in the banking industry who got off some very nice tidbits of information to me, and he gave me the value, but it wasn't free. I paid $150 for his CDs, and they were the best, most succinct CDs I ever seen, and I had no problem with putting forth a little of my res to get this knowledge, because he gave me a knowledge base that I didn't have before. So knowledge is power. Now it's just going to cost you. So you know what? For those that don't like it and fall out from the wayside, well, that's all right, because they're going to tax that ass on a whole different level, folks, and you'll be the victim on the other side of the commerce, the intercourse. So for those who think that, well, that's pretty nasty what they're doing, well, folks, we've been asking you from the bottom of our hearts to step up a little bit and throw a little bit of something down in the mix. And all we get is nothing, a big, fat nothing. So when it's free, yeah, it's all good. Well, nothing in life is free, folks. I'm going to send you the memo. Nothing is life for free. My energy, my res, my breathing to talk to people for hours at end is going to be comped on a different level until I step off which I'm already off the slave ship lollipop. But I'm going into, what I do in the private is what I do in the private between me and another party. So we can contract. I don't give advice. I just give education. And matter of fact, there will be warranties built in that basically say, hey, if you don't have the capacity to learn what I put forward, and believe me, I am excellent at putting information forward. I'm excellent at condensing information that you'll actually get it if you'll actually read it. I promise you, because I'm an excellent educator, and I'm not blowing my own horn, but if I can train Marines for combat medical tactics, doing standard operating procedures and educational in-service training classes, I can train all the rest of you to get your minds right to follow this bouncing ball very, very succinctly and very easily, because I reduce it to the mundane, because I realize that it's a lot of deep programming going on. So I will help you follow the bouncing ball on a whole different level, and so will Kate.
Yes, exactly. And just to clarify for people out there, I like to use on occasion, as you'll hear with Katie when she goes into potty mouth mode, I use that simply and strictly as a shock factor to see if I can actually rattle your cage enough to wake you up. And I should say to anyone out there listening that wants to actually have me on their shows, don't worry, I'm much better behaved. This is my time, my slot, my rules, my game. And you want to join me on Outside the Box? Well, I got to tell you, you're going to get a great big dose of that. And I do not, Pete, you know me by now, and many of the listeners that have been with me for literally almost 5 years now, they already know what they're getting when they show up to Outside the Box. They're getting cold hard facts, unadulterated truth with no bullshit in the mix. And yes, Tracy, I have to mention, yes, that I am. I'm in my moon cycle. I was born on the 15th, which is the height of the Tibetan lunar month, and I am PMSing like you would not believe, hon. So really, you know, here we are at Halloween, which is, by the way, the celebration, the anniversary of the sinking of Atlantis. That's why they call it All Hallows Eve. Okay, because the night of Halloween, November 1st, which is why this document is going to go out for the first time tomorrow, is when Atlantis was destroyed. And we're here to destroy Atlantis. It sank once, and it sank for a reason. And that was because of the arrogance. And what we're doing now is we're bringing that back. We're bringing back the arrogance. We're bringing back the fact that we are God, okay? And that we can handle it this time, and that we won't destroy ourselves like they did in Lemuria, Atlantis, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That was the lesson. So big celebration tonight. That's why everyone walks around with you know, that's why you have the tombstones and the dead goblins and everything else, because the vast majority of the Atlantean and Lemurian cultures were destroyed in one night when the island sank. So just a little bit of folklore for you. Just wanted to share that. I'm just full of facts and information tonight, huh? Anyway, welcome to
I gotta laugh, Kate. Brother Mike is doing. He really gets me chuckling. My webmaster. Privatist.me, take a walk on the private side. Remember that song by What's His Face back in the 70s, Take a Walk on the Wild Side?
Well, that's the first thing I thought when I saw that, so I thought it was very poignant, and given the fact that, here you are hanging out on the air, it's pretty funny.
You gotta read the rest. I gotta click this and send it to your box. You're gonna get a good chuckle. Michael is killing me on a whole different level.
He's the only one that is invited to put anything in my box. Okay? Anybody be thinking about putting anything in my box, I ain't interested. But Peter, you know, we got to keep it light. We got to keep it fun, because if people aren't having fun, they're missing the point of why they're here having a human experience. And we're just trying to scrape all the bullshit that has been piled on you for so long to get you to finally reach out and feel that sense of freedom. And where can they get that sense of getting off of plantation, to get out of Babylon, to get out of Mammon? Peter, what kind of bridge can they cross?
Oh, they can cross the Solutions Bridge to learn how to operate on the private, because they've been stuck in the public their entire life, and there is a way out. That's the whole point. So, folks, we're sort of bringing you the trauma. We're banging your head to just sort of snap into reality, to give you the nickel tour. Because if you don't know you've been in commerce your whole life, in operating commerce, i.e. intercourse, then if you don't know you've been having it done to you for all this time, then you're operating in a false paradigm. I call it the ostrich mode. Got your head buried in the sand, got your butt in the air, and every time you turn around, somebody's kicking you in the can. Well, that's what happens when you play ostrich, folks. So if you just take your head out of the ground and move on forward, you will have total clarity onto what I speak. And this is the whole point of the exercise, folks. This is just a wake-up call. If you don't like what they're doing with your estate, it's just simply a simple business administrative decision. If you don't like what they're doing with the and laying claim to you, then you have the right and the capacity to move it outside of Mammon and get it out of USA Inc. So you're no longer classified as a dead entity. Matter of fact, I saw a post today, very interesting. Somebody sort of paralleling what I've been saying all along. Like I told you, I think in all 50 states, folks, it's on the record under usually the subheading revocation of death, and they've considered everything that you've registered with them as abandoned property. You went away and you never came back because you're operating in fiction man land as a corporate entity, a dead entity, and this is the way they've classified us from the beginning. Folks, they did this 2,000 years in Rome when they burned it to the ground, when all the people didn't come forward to step forward as being alive. They actually classified them all as dead and had a field day stealing that of which was supposedly them having the capacity to be stewards over. We don't own anything, folks, and that's the keys to this whole thing. And it's not about owning. It's about, God doesn't send man a property tax bill. Only entities send you a property tax bill. So, hey, who died and left them God? So when you get your mind right, folks, it literally all just comes down to the estate. When you understand it's all about the estate, matter of fact, on our new site, Michael and I got posted, I have a plethora of excellent reference information that will get your mind right on a whole different level, and if you'll just read it, you'll have a lot more clarity than you have right now. So this is it's an educational process, folks. Everything I post is not garbage. It's only meat and potatoes. I don't put fluff. I don't bring the cotton candy. If you want cotton candy, you can go over to the politically correct side of actually believing that your vote counts in the lamestream media. That's another scam they perpetrate on you, folks. This has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, but in 1871 they stole our country away and made it a shadow of what its former self was and took it out of original jurisdiction, and we've been operating under the Admiralty since 1863. Well, when you're operating in the Admiralty, then it's rule by conquest, and they will plunder your prize ship, i.e. your citizenship, and they bring the laws, rockets, the grenade launchers, and all this other stuff, and they plunge the prize. You are the prize. You're the dead entity. You didn't know you were the dead entity. So it's just little interesting tidbit stuff like this that I roll off the top of my head that probably lose people pretty quickly, but that's not my intention. Everything that I know is because I read it, and it's available for the masses for consumption if they want to read a little something.
Exactly, and honestly, Peter, you speak in very clear terms for me. Just give you an idea of some of the tricks they like to pull. When when we talk about accommodating parties, when you take the anagram of parties and flip the words around a little bit, you are actually accommodating pirates. Okay, just rearrange the letters and you'll see the words. That's why they have conspire or conspiracy. Okay, and people, you gotta wake up and pay attention to what's going on here. I got to tell you, there are no other shows out there. I guarantee you, there are no other shows out there that will pack as much truth right in your face as the 2 hours you spend on Outside the Box or any of the other shows that we do. Okay? Because this is what we're trying to get you guys to understand. We're trying to get you to the point where you realize that ye are gods, that you don't need to ask for permission to go pee. Statutes and acts and legislation have nothing to do with you. And you said earlier, Peter, about people sticking their head in the sand. Well, listen, for all those that are out there that are even considering bolting, I think you call it voting, the L is silent, but voting to electrify or elect another government, let me tell you a little something about the word government. And I'm going to get you to think twice about this. Actually, I'm actually going to ask you not to bother thinking, because if you get this right out of the gate, you will never volt your electrical energy into a government again. Govern is Latin for rectum, ment is Latin for mind. So when you vote, you are sticking your head in their rectum mind. So don't cry a river to me when all of a sudden you can't see anything because there's no sunshine. Unfortunately, you're the sunshine that is being told to stick it where the sun don't shine. And here's the thing, you do it voluntarily, you fool. How about you stop?
Well, anyways, yeah, it's all. Kate, did you get what I threw in your Skype? You might want to open up this page with Peter's page. It's gonna make you laugh.
Actually, that's not a very good indicator, Peter. You know, you throw something like that in my box and I don't even feel it. Where is it?
Hey, what can I say? Well, you've been desensitized because you've been in commerce for too long.
Oh, look at that, PhD Peter. Okay, I'm just gonna pop it up. We do have a caller, by the way. Shall we bring the caller in just to have some fun?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, as long as they have their mind right and it's all good, I'd like to bring them to the.
Oh well, and if not, Peter, we know how to shred. It's all good. We have our. Remember, we got the Shreddies with the decoder ring because we said, Mummy, no, Shreddies with the decoder ring. Okay, so we're going to bring the caller in. I will mention to everyone, if you do want to call in, feel free because that's what we're here for, to answer questions and take comments. So the area code is the call-in is 714-868-0749. And if you want to Skype in, you'll have to refresh the page that you're on to get the Skype button if it's not there, which is no problem. It'll bring you back in, and you can actually use Skype to call in direct to the show as well. So caller area code 936, first three numbers 825. I'm bringing you live onto the air with Outside the Box with Kate of Gaia and Peter. Questions or comments? What have you got?
Yes, are you able to hear me?
Oh, I can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just wondering where we're going with all this.
Where do you want to go?
Well, I realize that their whole system has been a fraud from the word go, and that they can't do anything to me unless I give my consent.
Oh, are you defined as? Let me see. Have you revoked all your signatures? Have you actually put out the writs and all the rest of it? Understanding law of nations and how that all works?
Well, no, because I simply don't have to do that.
Oh, really?
Peter,
no, I
don't. Hey, let me step in. Hey, brother.
Because number one, they entered me into a contract without my consent, which is fraud. It does matter. It does matter because fraud.
Hang on. Okay, that's the joy of having the board here, because if you don't actually stop while we're trying to answer something for you, I will put you on hold. I love you, but I will shut you up, okay? I need you to pay attention because you're still missing what we're talking about here. They will do what they want to you because Peter just told a wonderful little story, and he's a guy that knows who he is. And quite frankly, what you're missing is this, and I'm going to be really blunt because you are the same as very many people. And that's not to make fault here. I'm trying to break this out of you all, okay, because you don't know who you are. The body you were walking around in wasn't built by you. It was built by your parents. That's the constructive trust. They're the ones that gave you away. They're the ones that sold you into slavery, and you still haven't reclaimed it back yet. So don't tell me they can't do what they want with you. They fucking own you. And you need to get that through your skull until you wake up and get this. Now I'm going to bring you back on. When we actually have to answer something, I do expect the courtesy to let us answer. I don't need opinion or ego. I will shut you down, as you've seen. This is an open forum. It goes both ways. So if you ask a question, you give Peter or myself the opportunity to answer it, or I don't let you come on. So I'm going to bring you back in, and we're going to have some love here. We're going to actually ask questions, and you're not going to make statements because that's not what you're here for. You can make a comment, that's fine. You can ask a question, that's fine. But I don't need belligerence. We will answer the questions, and we will have it in an open forum. And I will not deal with egos, and that's what I was dealing with, and I will shut it down. So you're back on the air. Continue.
Okay. Well, all I want to say is I was not done saying what I was saying, and you guys began answering before I finished. So all I'm going to say is you were the one that interrupted me, first and foremost. And if you don't realize that, that's your problem, not mine. Go back and listen to the archive and see who interrupted you first.
No, I got one question.
See, you're interrupting me now.
Hey, brother, have you cut the Gordian knot? Do you know what the Gordian knot is?
I don't have to know what those things are.
Oh, you sure as hell do, brother, because you left your...
No, I do not.
Okay, we're done with this clown. Bye-bye.
I'm a clown?
Have a great day.
Really?
Yeah. Brother, you're not getting the memo. You left your filet mignon on the plate until you cut the Gordian knot, i.e. the birth certificate trust, and you bring it over out of USA Inc., it's still on the plate, and they will pound you like the redheaded stepchild they want to treat you as because you don't know who you are. You're operating in a capacity under USA Inc. as a 14th Amendment citizen slave. And if you don't believe me, keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to learn the hard way. Because, brother, I've been down that road. I got 25 years under my belt, and I just might know a little bit of something that you might not.
And that's the other thing, too. And what the caller needs to, and this is very indicative of a lot of people that I deal with. They come to the table with all sorts of feigned information.
They're opinions. They're opinions.
Yes, they are. I mean, I was there, too. You know, we were all there where you were and where you are right now, okay? What we're trying to do and where our passion is coming in that you're mistaking as some sort of ego, it's not. It is absolute concern for your safety. Because until you actually decide that you don't know a fucking thing like we did once, and then you can relearn and start rebooting, you are going to get your ass handed to you. You are going to get yourself in some serious shit trouble because you are what they look at as a belligerent. We're trying to do you a favor. If you would stop and listen and take what we're saying verbatim. We've walked the road. There were a lot of minefields. We stepped on a lot of them for you. Show a little fucking courtesy. Maybe a little gratitude. And going, well, instead of going, blah, 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 I say, well, what are your thoughts on this? And I will certainly, what we're doing, my friend, is mirroring that which you've thrown out. I will shred ego. Okay? End of story. Oh, Tony just joined us. So I'm going to bring Tony in here. But anyway, and I did warn everybody I am PMSing. Okay? So get over it. But Peter, you know, when we speak, we're not speaking from, well, I think this. No, we're speaking from the I did this.
Yep.
I've been taken down.
Yeah, he's not aware that you got to cross the Rubicon, and he thinks he can stay on the other side of that bridge and operate in a capacity as 14th Amendment USA Inc. If you do not remove your estate from the plantation, you are still there. I don't give a crap what type of paperwork you put forward, brother. You're dead in the water. You're still a dead entity. They will draft you for performance and beat the brakes off you until your butt falls off. I guarantee it. You know why? Because I see my belligerent brothers do the same mistake over and over and over again because they can't get their minds right and get the paradigm shift that is supposed to be coming forward. Instead, they want to give their 2 cents, and that's what I say about 2 cents, Kate. That's exactly what it's worth, is 2 cents, because he's not coming from a position of knowledge and strength. He's coming from a position of weakness and no knowledge of what he thinks he knows. But there you go. We get thinking again. Okay, do I think? No. What I do is can I provide proofs for everything I speak of? I think yes. I can give it to you in black and white on any issue that I speak of. So I can give you the full nickel tour so you can get your mind right so you didn't think I pulled it out of my butt. If I can't show you a proof, then I don't speak on the topic.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I've walked my talk. I have proven everything that I've done because ego, for some reason, needs that. I have no time for that. But what I will do is I do not lead by shooting my mouth off. I lead by example, and I speak of the experiences, not of the theories. Okay, this is a college mentality here, practical versus the university. I got it from a book. Therefore, it must be correct. You know what? Until you're looking down the barrel of a fucking shotgun or a 9mm handgun, until you're getting kidnapped, until you're getting sexually assaulted, until you're getting your house stolen, until you're getting your family ripped out from under you, until you're getting your family handcuffed to the floor with shotguns in their faces, fully loaded with lead rounds, including 9mm that don't have any metal jackets, designed to kill, until you live that, until you have your house stolen, until you have your car, truck, everything in your fucking life destroyed, you haven't got an opinion with me. And by the way, while you're at it, make them the stand to go back and do everything lawful because you were using their rules to prove that they were all wrong, and then spend 28 days in solitary confinement. Then you come here and you fucking tell me. You tell me. Oh, by the way, spend 48 years of your life in a meat stick prison that isn't you. You want arrogance? There's none there. That's all love, my friend, and I've walked this walk. And if you cannot hear what I'm saying, then you are deaf. If you cannot see what I've done, then you are blind. I will not cast pearls before the swine. Those with eyes to see and ears to hear are the ones that I am speaking to and showing to. This is show and tell, boys and girls. If you're seeing it, when you're living it, you'll get it. And until that point, shut up.
Where's Tony at?
I don't know. Where is Tony at? I love Tony. Where is he?
I'm frightened to come in case I get my head bitten off in case I say something wrong.
Oh, no, we're going to show you the love, Tony. Hey, you're the even keel guy. We love you.
Hey, it's Halloween, Peter and Tony. I did say that it was going to be a wild night tonight, and it sure as hell is. We do have another caller. I gotta say, it's another caller. That's, you know what? I'm going to bring this caller in because if they got the guts to call in tonight, I want to hear from them. Is that fair? Is that fair?
Hey,
you know,
they got the balls to step up to the bow. Bring them in. It's all good. Hey, let's see what if they can share with us some wisdom here.
And let's go do some Halloween howling with area code 661748. Who we got?
Yeah, this is Aaron.
Hey, Aaron.
Aaron, brother Aaron. Hey, that's my brother. He gets it. He really gets it.
Okay, that's
let
what
me let me give some clarification to what Peter's trying to tell the caller. When you don't cut the Gordian knot, you're under their jurisdiction. Everything's about jurisdiction. And they have jurisdiction over that birth certificate, bond certificate, if you don't take it out of their jurisdiction. That's the bottom line. That's what it comes down to. So you can say all you want, if I don't consent, well, they are going to identify you with that bond birth certificate as long as you keep it in their jurisdiction and you don't take it out, which is why you need to get into the divine province. And that's about it.
Thank you. Aaron, I couldn't have said it any better myself. He goes to the head of the class, gets 5 stars because he's been paying attention. Thank you, brother. I love you.
Well, because I'm not watching Dancing with the Stars. I actually go on there and read and try to understand stuff instead of saying I don't have time. And most of the time when I talk to people, it's like it's like they have no clue. And the Bible verse that comes to mind when I listen to you guys talk, and when I go out and I talk to people, the Bible says, the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. And most of these people, they've been in the dark for so long that when you shine light to them, they cannot comprehend the light that we're shining to them because they're so used to the dark.
Yeah, you know, and Aaron, that is so eloquently put and well brought up on all points. You know, and you know what, people think this is anger. It's not. It's, you know what this is, guys? I have seen so many people go down for not listening to simple things. You know, and that's an ego program. That is saying, well, you didn't make it work because I know better, and then they go in and they get their ass handed to them, and I don't want it. I don't want people doing that, and I don't want to be responsible knowing that I didn't do everything in my power to help them not do that, and that's what that caller was when he called in. He's coming at things from an approach that the majority do. And it's not to make a fault. You said it very well, Aaron, when you said about those who've been in the dark so long they can't see the light when it's presented. So I'm just hoping that there was enough shock factor tonight to stir that up where it might just download. It might. I'm hoping.
Yep. Hey, well, Hosea. Aaron, Hosea 4:6. My children perish for lack of knowledge. He apparently hasn't got the memo yet, and I'm hoping instead of him getting upset with what I'm saying and bringing forward, I can prove everything I say. I've already traveled the road less traveled of which he speak, and I can prove to him irrevocably, unequivocally, that he is dead nuts wrong. And everything requires consent. I understand that. However, when you operate from a different paradigm and you remove your estate from their fiction land corporation, they have no capacity to deal as long as you can operate on the private and know who you are. It's really, really simple, folks. We're gonna educate you. We're gonna get your minds right if you want to, but you got to be willing to step in, folks. I am not the smartest guy in the room. I just read, and I actually internalize what I read, and I bounce it off other smarter folks in the room, and get my clarity through others of like mind who are on the same page and are actually paying attention. So I don't do conjecture, I don't do opinion, I don't do any of that. I do proofs. I'm a proof type of guy. I'm from the show me state, I guess. Even though I'm not, everybody who wants to be from Missouri, that's good. I will show you more stuff in one fell swoop that will smash your false paradigm all to hell. You'll never be able to go back to the way you were if you want to get the proofs and the truth. And that's why, matter of fact, our new site does have Changes on the Horizon on the videos page for those that want to go and watch Changes on the Horizon Part 2. And that's where you start, folks. It takes a paradigm shift. First, you got to have a starting point on how all this crap went down in the first place, how the banking system got put into play, how they changed up gears in 1933, the hypothecating of the bonds and all this other stuff, and then the Social Security numbers. Folks, it's all there. It's all for the taking at the moment. So, you know, it's really it's plain as a nose on my face, and I got a pretty damn big nose too.
Okay, and just to I want to bring a couple other points to the fore here, and it goes much deeper than that. Again, that's a beautiful area to start with, because what happens there is people start getting a reality that, well, maybe we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Maybe things aren't the way we thought they were. And what I'm going to do, and I do this for anyone, I don't care. There's so much, I love people. The caller that did call in, my Skype is really easy to find. You can find me at katie.renee.thompson. You can actually search me with Cygnus Trumpets, CYGNUS Trumpets, using my email, katierenee@live.ca. I have an open door, and if you do want to play in Mammon, in Babylon, I'm putting together some stuff that will actually help keep you safe, at least be able to call their bluff, where they can't pull this crap on you, or at least it will give you a form of defense, because right now you are standing defenseless. You don't know who you are. And you talked about, when you say, this was the one that really got me. When you came across and said, I do not consent, you don't know who you are to not consent. Okay? Only those that are of fine spark and know who they are, that's when the universal laws kick in. Until then, you are at the mercy of the black magic. And that's exactly how they're owning everyone, keeping everyone in the dark, exactly where they want them. And until you wake up and realize that ye are gods, that you can say, I do not consent all you want. I mean, it will be effective to a certain degree, but you will buckle because you don't know who you are. It's when you know who you are and you will stand peacefully in defiance. If you've seen the Judge Bows to Sovereign, you'll have seen me working in boy mode, where a judge that had two choices that he had to accept here. It was either he was not immersed in the law and therefore ignorant of the law, knowing what he should have done with that birth bond when I gave it across to make payment, or he was creating a willful act of fraud. Devil or deep blue sea, sir? Choose. You know? And that's what I'm trying to get across to people. There's no malice. If there is any malice that comes across from me is the absolute disdain I have for this program, this 250 genome and brainstem program that is a transceiver that has you thinking it's you. You're the most beautiful thing in the universe. Your creation itself. Your life, consciousness. That other shit that gets thrown on your white canvas that drives me batty. But anyway, Tony, let's hear from you, my friend.
Sounds like you've been having a lively one tonight, Kate.
Oh yeah, well, you know, it's Halloween, PMS, you know, full moon, all the rest of the crap that goes with it.
Astrological alignments and all that as well.
Mm-hmm. I know who I am, and I know. Well, Peter, we said this morning that we're going. Or last night we talked about this. Is that tomorrow we're going to have some bonfires. Yeah, we're having bonfires tonight. We're lighting it up. So, you know, this is the intention we need out there. You know. So, hey, any news from the UK, Tony?
Not really from this side of the pond, no. Apart from what we discussed off air, which is not for air, it's off air.
Exactly.
We're getting some bits and pieces put together, which is going to be extremely interesting for people in Europe. And it's coming together, it's going well, and there's a lot of hard work being done by, behind the scenes, really.
Exactly. And just so people know that weren't listening this morning, I'm almost finished the document. Hey, Peter, do you think I should read this for them so they get an idea of what we're talking about?
Yeah, sure.
I think this was what I'm trying to do is give everyone a template worldwide, so this everyone can use this. I don't care if you're a brain surgeon or someone that works at a burger drive-thru. This will work for you. That's how I write everything. I try to write things with everyone in mind. Anyway, the document is very simply this. It's about remote plausible deniability, and information from it came from my own research and from Peter's and from Santo and Tony and I like to compile everything, so that's what I do. I just kind of put everything together here. So just wait for it to load up. Anyway, the heading on it is ignorance of the law is not a defense of or from the law, and so that kind of gives you a flavor of what's to follow. And I will be actually faxing these things in handwritten form, but for anyone out there that is interested, of course, that are on my email list, and by the way, I should mention, I'm having a hell of a time trying to get emails sent, so I have to reorganize my email send list because they're too big. So I have to pare them down to about 100 at a time because I only get so many emails, guys. So please bear with me. I'm doing my best. I really am. I just need bigger email. Anyway, so ignorance of the law is not a defense of or from the law. This is a document I'm putting together that you put as a header on top of anything you want to serve into any file, just for shits and giggles. And you make sure you box this. I'll have all the, what do you call it, Peter, following the bouncing ball?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll have instructions with it, what you do. And if you can't follow these instructions, you don't deserve this. Okay, you're not ready for it. But I'm going to put it out in very easy terms. Here's what you do, then you take this step, and then you do this, this, and this, and you'll be fine. So here it is. A claim of ignorance cannot be made when one is presented with the facts. See all attached material, which you will get, for clarity to avoid your willful act of attempted fraud. Failure to do so will be subset willful act of fraud to ignore truth. RE file number. So I've given you a place to handwrite in the actual file number, right? So here's the list of things that are going to be on this that are going to get shoved right into and on for the record into your court file, and they have to look at it. The only way they get rid of it is if they get rid of the case, and that's the whole point. We want it thrown out, and we want to know that they're exposed. So here it is. 1. Who is the bonded party bringing forth this claim? Question mark. Please provide QSIP numbers, bonding insuring company / agent name on the forms provided, as well as a number and address for your municipal risk management contact information and the chief magistrate, chief executive officer for that municipality, commonly known as mayor, with a copy of their oath of office to that particular corporation. 2, be aware that it is fraud to knowingly attempt to create joinder between a living divine child of light, the one writing it, with a fictitious corporation named estate, where the living are the beneficiaries, not the owners of said estates, and where fictions are unable to perform as required with a performance bond. 3, as a merchant of law, in brackets, Lex Merchantorium / UCC, and an expert in commercial paper / negotiable instruments, a subset, you have an obligation to understand the codes under which you attempt to make any and all claims, in that I am not consenting or contracting to be an accommodating party, UCC 3-419. Caller, did you know that? I didn't think so. Where all signatures ever created by my living hand and intention are rendered null and void, based on fraudulent and willful non-disclosure ab initio, ad infinitum, nunc pro tardi. I do love my Latin. 4, whereas all merchant contracts enticed into by living soul, acting as or on behalf of a corporation, are null and void, inasmuch as trespass on the estate that I am sole beneficiary of has been made with ignorant or malfeasant intent by a living soul. Look who's accountable. 5, I, and this is where you get to fill in your first and middle name only, lowercase, because there is no capital in your name if it's lowercase. You see? There's no money. Capital, money, money, capital. Putting it together, guys? There we go. Okay, so I, first and middle name, lowercase only, and the living heir and beneficiary of the estate, name put in the business, the all capitals name. That's the will, that's the estate, that's the secret will and trust that they set up for you that you can use, you just don't own it. Okay, of in which you are trespassing with an unwarranted claim and without your bond information backing your claim. And since you are acting on behalf of a fictional corporation without sense or substance, only you, the living soul, are fully culpable for your actions, where fictions are simply that, fictions. And 6, this is where I've got to so far. Whereas the assumption / assumpsit / presumption of the law is that all who deal in commercial paper, negotiable instruments, are experts in all matters pertaining to the aforementioned as a merchant of law. Anyway, to be continued. Not much more to write there, though, is there, Peter?
Oh, I can add some stuff. I like adding. I'm the kitchen sink guy. Remember?
Oh yeah. What I'm going to do actually tonight, Peter, if we can, I'd love to get this back and forth to work it out, because there's about 4 or 5 people I want to send this to that actually have the balls to go and ram this into the court just for shits and giggles. And this is what it's about, guys. It's about intention. It's about boxing your signature just because you can. Bring your crayons to the table. It's fun. Bring your coloring books and everything. Oh my God, I don't care. Just do it. Do something.
Shit, that was awesome, Kate. Absolutely awesome. You've ticked so many boxes. My head's still flipping, spinning. Slow down, man.
Well, that's the thing too, Tony, and you know me, right? I have to wait for the download. I can't just sit down and write something. It has to come in, and it has to come in when it's ready to come in. Like last night, I went to bed. I talked about this morning, eh, Peter? I went to bed at 2:30, and I fell asleep, and I'm up 20 minutes later with this lucid dream I just had of Santo's presentation, and I saw his graphs and charts, everything in 3 dimension. And I can hardly wait to talk to Santo. He's on tonight. I forget the station after this. I think it's 10 to midnight. So I'm probably going to tune in there. I'm going to go to the room. Oh, Jim, you don't have to do that. You're going to have these documents in your hands tomorrow, and you're going to have some fun, my friend. I promise you that. This is what it's all about, guys. This is about taking the bat and rattling it off the table, saying, "Where's your money, guys? Put the money up." And then they're going to go, "Oh, shit," they're going to run. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to wake them up. Okay, this is not about going in belligerent and I know who I am. I do not consent. Okay, Gordian, not got it. Oh, you don't know what it is. And thank you, Aaron, for explaining it. That was so beautiful.
Aaron, Aaron's got carte blanche authority to come in through the door anytime because he actually gets it.
Are you there, Aaron? I've still got your mic hot.
Yeah. No, oh, okay,
yeah.
I'm still here, yeah.
Yeah, feel free to jump in, man. You're part of the crew now. It's like, and this is to all the people out there. You don't have to agree with us, but you should come to the table with something other than an opinion.
Well, as Albert Einstein once said, condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance. So,
yep.
Before you go start condemning somebody and what they're saying, investigate what they're saying first to see for sure that it's true before you start condemning what they're saying. And I tell people, listen, I don't want you to take what I say as to be the truth. Go investigate yourself and find out for yourself. I can't teach you anything. I can just teach you I can teach you to think, but I can't teach you anything. Aristotle said that.
Hey, Aaron, I have another little buzz phrase I use. A wise man investigates what a fool takes for granted.
Like it. Love it.
Yeah. I don't know where I pulled that out of. I pulled that out of my backside. Sometimes I get some serious thought in my head. The synapses actually sort of start working once in a while.
Yeah. No, you just, and then if I do, a lot of people just say, well, I just don't have time. I go, well, then your values are messed up. So,
hey, guys, I was going to say, I have a question for you guys. This is just came in to me. This is so typical of the system. I love this. You guys let rip on this because I know what I want to say, but I'm going to let you guys take the first crack at it. Hello, everyone. Here's the judge's response to giving back the driver's license and birth certificate in Calgary court. I already know what happened there. That's exactly the wrong thing to do right there. I mean, you're in their church, too late. Unless you really know your shit, too late. Okay, that's my first answer. Sorry, I said I wasn't going to jump on this, but okay, I'll leave the rest for you guys. So Alberta is very much a rogue province, aren't they all? The judge proceeded to say, well, that is very nice, but you are another one who has been given false information. No. Oh, sorry, never mind. It is very nice that you do not claim to be this person and give me back your driver's license. The charges remain. We will set the court date for another 2 weeks to settle this matter. So the question is from my associate, what do you do or say to make the judge stand up and back off, make him realize you know who you are? Well, if you've been listening, I'll let you guys go first. Take a rip at it, and then I'm gonna throw in my kitchen sink.
Yeah. So, in essence, they're walking. What are you trying to tell me? They're walking into the court and they think they have status. That they actually know their status.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. I knew you'd be on the right page there. Bottom line is, the guy walks into court with his birth certificate and a driver's license. wants to give his driver's license back. I can pick out at least and it's not that there was false information given. It's just the information that this individual had was misinterpreted because they didn't follow the bouncing ball and they didn't do their due diligence that Aaron was just talking about. Investigate.
Right. They just showed they're double-minded. First of all, they're stepping into the game, into the bow, and dealing with the master, i.e. the Magi, and they're asking for a permission. Yeah, they brought their birth certificate bond, but help. What's that going to do when you're trying to traverse coming into Never Never Land so you can get one of their fiction driver's licenses? So you're asking for permission from Mammon again. So therein lies the whole problem. You just showed that individual is showing they're double-minded. They really don't know who they are because they're still standing in fiction land because they're operating in the wrong paradigm because they really don't know who they are and they didn't get the memo yet. So they got some learning to do.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And so that is the answer to that. A good post and a very typical assumption. And actually, this is a good demonstration of what the caller was bringing to the table earlier. You know, here's an individual going to the physical action of saying, "This is not my license. There's my birth bond," but they didn't know who they were. They didn't. And frankly, if they walked into the court, they don't know who they are because this is administrative. You take care of business in the administration part of the building that isn't court. Because as soon as you walk into church, just like a town hall, because that's a court. You got the mayor, the chief magistrate of the city, and all the aldermen, which are like their little crown things, and they even have a clerk register. They have their court clerk, and they also have their bailiffs. And that's why people get removed from town hall because you're actually in church. You're in court. Right? So they can do whatever they want. When you're in their turf, you see, the Judge Bows to Sovereign video was over 2 years ago, guys, and all of the information that we know now wasn't revealed then, so someone like me can walk in, and they don't want to give the cat away. They don't want to let the cat out of the bag, so they're going to let me get away with a certain amount of information. But I already dealt in a whole bunch of paperwork prior to this, and this was no slouch stuff. I can write. Tony?
Absolutely.
There you go. Okay. So I can write. I know what I'm talking about. I've spent a lifetime reading. That's what I do. So I kind of have a grasp on how to write between the lines because I can read between them. So no one knows what I served. I have all the stuff. And you can make all the assumptions you want of what you saw, but you don't know what happened. Now, that 2.5-minute video is the culmination of a 7.5-hour standoff that I did not yield because I'm a stubborn bitch, even in Boima.
Hey, I do want to share the new site. Privatus.me, folks, is now open. For those who want to come through the front door, it is open. And you got to see what I sent you on the Peters page. I got to blow my horn for a second because Brother Michael gets me. He said, "Who's talking?" I thought I heard somebody. Anyway, it says, "Beware, Peter is on the high seas and taking captives. Get ready, the show is about to begin." I love it. And it's got the skull and crossbones on the Beware. So, folks, we're going to have some fun. And we're going to have some fun on a whole new level because we're fixing to open up a whole new paradigm.
Hey, Tony, guys, feel free. I'm actually not talking just so you guys can jump in here. I'm sitting back. I want to hear from you. So, Aaron, Tony, Peter, just have some fun.
No, it's all good stuff. Can you tell me a little bit more about this site, Peter? I'm really interested.
Yeah, it's I guess I can go to your box and post it. It's called SuiJuris.me is no longer existing. And we're integrating a whole new site, educational on major educational levels, on the medical side of the fence, on the so-called scumbag side of the fence, what they're doing, and so people can get some resolutions in their minds and sort of move forward on multiple different levels. But it's going to be an incredible, eye-opening site. This is going to be available. As a matter of fact, we are now open. And it's got some of the stuff from SuiJuris.me as far as changes on the horizon, which is a nickel tour for everybody to get their mind right to find out how bad they've been in commerce and how they can, because until they know where they start, they don't know what's been transpired and the wool pulled over their eyes. So let me find you in my little box here, and I'd like you to be able to open that up. Let me see. I've got 5,000 Skypes now. Nobody knew me before. 90 days ago, I didn't have but 3 Skype members, and now I can't find my butt with both hands. I already sent, it's already in your box there, Tony. So you may open it up and take a look at it. Everybody can sign up for free and come in. There will be 4 sections that will be available for free. But we're going to be creating an educational platform on different levels on how to deal with the multiple issues that the lamestream media will never cover. So you can move forward in a progressive, effective direction and have clarity of thought and mind on how to operate in the real world without getting pounded on. And because there's multiple things that the lamestream media will not cover, and I will, because I'm the shy, quiet type.
Yeah, indeed you are.
People tell me I need to come out of my shell. I'm working on it.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on my Skype room here with regards to a post. Let me see here. I know that Santo is going to be on with Bono's Entertainment tonight. That's the information. I'm just curious. There was a link posted I haven't went to yet. I'm just curious as to what is the source of the info, and I'll have a look at it afterwards. But one of the things that I'm trying to get across to people, I'm not interested in legal, I'm not interested in lawful and statute and legislation and everything else, because 1, it's all bullshit. 2, if in doubt, see Rule 1. Okay, and it's all about calling the bluff. There is no remedy in the system. There is only calling the bluff to expose it and destroy it. There is no playing in their sandbox. They've already got, the game is rigged. And I don't know about you, but I don't think we've been doing very well in their courtrooms, churches, you know. So I think it's probably a good idea to, try to figure out who you are. And, if you want to play in their game, well, if you want to play with fire, expect to get burned. That's why we're having a bonfire tonight, so that we're taking all that burning and throwing it into one pile so that you don't get burned. We'll keep an eye on the fire for you. But please, and Aaron said it so well, and so did Peter. We always say it, Tony and myself, don't take anything that I'm saying verbatim. Research what we're talking about. And when you see exactly what it is that we found, you'll go, oh, isn't that interesting? You'll start to awaken. This is about love. This is about changing the flow, the paradigm. And until you understand who and what you are, you God you most beautiful essence of the universe you, not the ego, left brain, cane, I have an opinion, doofus, let that shit go. Pete, Aaron, Tony, I know with me, I'll ask you guys, was there a point in your life when you just said, I don't know shit, I'm going to restart?
Hey, how many times you have to do that is ridiculous.
It is something, eh? Yeah. Every time we uncover new truths, it's like, well, forget that one. I mean, I wrote legal pieces, 2 years ago that were shutting courts down, that were getting people removed from courtrooms and everything. And of course, look at us. Wow, we're winning. But we were still trapped in the illusion of thinking that we could.
Exactly.
And it's sort of like our discussion last night with our brother from Australia, who did the FUQ, and yeah, he's doing it the old-fashioned way that I used to do, like I say, 10, 12 years ago, but it doesn't work today. It doesn't work in any way, shape, or form today. They just steamroll your butt. So this is why we're doing this bond stuff, folks, because it's just about the bonds. Once you understand it's just about the stinking money, it really cuts to the chase and creates a whole new paradigm shift in their minds. They know you're not a proverbial slave on the plantation, and you're locking and loading on a whole different. You now have the light on the cockroach pen, and when you shine the light on the cockroach pen, they really get nervous. And Deatra proved that unequivocally when she followed my 30-minute tour and actually operated in the proper capacity, stood in the breach, didn't go wait till she got before the Magi. I said, you got to handle this before it gets to finality, because if you don't, it's too late when you're standing in front of the bear. So she got the memo, she paid attention, and she followed direction. You know, that's all I asked. And when she, what pissed me off is she didn't tell me until 3 weeks later that she had a success. I didn't even know where she went. So, I mean, and I knew what I knew deep down to my soul, folks, and this is what we're sharing with you. This is the meat and potatoes of the whole issue. It's about just the money. Doesn't matter, civil, criminal, felony. It's just a smokescreen for the money game. They want to draft you for performance, and now we're going at it a whole different way of stuff you're never, ever supposed to know, and these are the subjects they don't want you broaching because they know they've got their dadgum hands in your cookie jar. And once you know that the hands are in the cookie jar, it's going to be a Lucy moment. Somebody's got some splaining to do.
Okay.
And you don't take no for an answer. Just grow a spine. Kate and I covered this for 2 hours at today's lunchtime call. It was electric. It was the truth coming forward on a whole different level. And folks, everything else is a smoke and mirror. So let's get past the smoke and mirror show and come straight down to truth. Let's cut through the wheat and the chaff and get straight to the truth. That's all I'm talking about is the truth. I will not misdirect you. I will not mislead you. But you got to get your mind right. You can't come on the show and start doing misdirection, smoke and mirrors. I know who I am. Well, you know what? You don't know crap. You think you know who you are, and you're operating from a false paradigm. Because if you don't think you got to cut that Gordian knot and you want to operate in USA Inc. or Canada Inc. or UK Inc., then, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and let's see how that works for you. I promise it won't, because the train has left the station, and they're on the steamroller path. This whole system is so corrupt. There's nothing else for them to steal, except now they want an incarceration nation on a whole new level under the guise of the drugs and this and that. Folks, it's just a scam. The belligerent, the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, classifying sovereign citizens, all those idiots who think they're actually a citizen and a sovereign in the same breath, which is a total oxymoron. Folks, you got to get your minds right, because this is the stuff that's going to cause you major trauma, stress, and duress. And I'm telling you, I know what I know, and if you'll follow the bouncing ball, you got a chance. If you won't, then I promise you the deleterious effects that will be ruled out to you fast and effectively, they will steamroll you like you've never been steamrolled before, because that's how desperate this system has become.
Hey, Peter.
Because they know that we're waking up, and they know they got nowhere else to go except to steal from you direct, create friggin' laws under banana eating on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Folks, they got more laws and crap to bind you up than Carter's got pills. Well, if you're a slave on the plantation, it applies to you.
Okay. You're making me crack up here. Tony, I want you to jump in here. I do want to make one comment prior to, and I thought this was rather interesting, because the announcement went out for people to evacuate, because of this big flops, Hurricane Sandy. The reason, it was really interesting because the DTC basement got flooded, okay? So that's a lot of birth bonds that got damaged, probably beyond repair. But what they were asking people to do when they were evacuating, which they've never asked before, was they said, make sure you bring a copy of your birth certificate, bring your driver's license, bring your credit cards, bring your debit cards, bring everything that identifies you so that we're ready to pick you up as a 14th Amendment slave to put you in the FEMA camp. Or if we end up losing your birth certificate, we have a copy of it because by your own consent you've done it. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. It's rather interesting because I've never asked people to do that for evacuation before. Generally, it's just food, water, and enough to keep you alive for a month. Tony, jump on this. You were trying to get in there, so get your 2 cents in, your tuppence.
Yeah, I was. Now, the thing that I actually wanted to put across was what we've actually found here, guys. Now, let's be honest about this, and we can put it in many different terms. What we've actually found here is the Holy Grail. We got this. It's the Holy Grail to the legal system. You could say it was the cornerstone that the entire building was built from. But what we've actually got is the Holy Grail of the legal system, the Holy Grail of the bond system, the Holy Grail of the construct that we are experiencing all around us. And that's what I wanted to get across, because it's not a little thing that we've got going here. It's absolutely huge. It's the Holy frigging Grail. Comment?
Exactly. And people have got to learn, and this is the thing, and this is why I keep bringing it up, because I've had a couple of people come back to me where, of course, the pretenders play, well, I don't know. That's why I'm putting this piece of information together where they won't have a choice, because they're going to get a copy of the Uniform Commercial Code. Basically, they're going to get copies of all the documents. You're going to be printing out a small book to get rid of this, anything that you're dealing with, but you're going to ram this choking piece of information, this damning piece of truth, into the case file that has to go on and for the record, because the file number goes on it. And we're going to give you a step-by-step how to do this. This, as Tony said, this is the Holy Grail. This is the one smoking gun that has a bonfire raging behind it, and they know it. And they know it.
Yeah, a bonfire. I mean, what an oxymoron that is. B-O-N-D or B-O-N, you know, it's a bonfire, folks.
Absolutely, and because it's their own Roman maxims and it's their own law, there's absolutely sod all that they can do about it. They can't reverse the system for thousands and thousands of years or whatever, hundreds of years if you like, and just turn around and scrub it all out and say, oh, we didn't mean it. It's not going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, again, I'm just trying to shut up here and let you guys go. You just like, you stop and okay, dead air. I'm a host, you know, like, dead air, can't have it. Okay, so, you know, carry on. You guys are just getting this beautiful flow going, you know?
Well, I got to get Tony, I got to give Tony some of my lung capacity.
Totally. I'll tell you, if I had a quarter of yours, I'd be on fire, I tell you. All good. Now, listen.
Yep.
This is massive stuff. There's a lot more to follow it on. But what this is, it's the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, when we get out the other end of the tunnel, all the other stuff's going to start getting exposed. And when all the other stuff, like the technologies, the life extension technologies, the free energy technologies, all this sort of stuff is going to come out. But this is the Holy Grail. It's going to allow the opening of the Pandora's box. And that's the way I see this thing. This is just the beginning. This is just the main leading light, but this is the Holy Grail. Once we activate this and get that Grail shining, boy, then it's all going to start coming out. And that's what people focus on.
Tony, I really want to bring this up to you because you know how we've all been looking for the different bonds and everything else for, you know, the bid performance and payment bonds. We got the U.S. ones, thank you, Peter, and all you guys have found that stuff. I found the Canadian ones, 504, 505, 506. But really what it boils down to is it's irrelevant, because what I want people to do, this is your own investigation that you can do. You can go and look up the country that you live in and find it in Washington, D.C., as a registered corporation. And when you do find it, as Scott Bartle from Australia found that the Australian government was registered in Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, guess what happens? Well, United States Code, Section 18 is applicable worldwide. If the country you are living in is owned and registered into and part of District of Columbia, the United States Code is in effect. So really, all you need, and you don't have to fill these things out. This is the joy of this. You are not qualified. Dean Clifford made it very clear, very unequivocally clear. You are not supposed to fill this stuff out. You are not qualified. That's what the administrators in the courts are for, in the administration office, the little clerks, the little public servants that are insisting that you are the master and you should pay them. That's all they're doing, guys. They're taking their pay as servants. Well, you're the rich one. You've got all the money in the bonds. I'll just take money from that. So these are the happiest, go-luckiest slaves or servants you've ever had. You know, it's like in Guelph, the city of Guelph there, they just built this beautiful big new city hall. I'm thinking, shit, those are the nicest servants' quarters I've ever seen. Wish I had servants' quarters like that.
You know, you wish you had a paycheck like that and all.
Oh yeah, we're the ones footing the servants' bill, and they're just pigging out of the trough. So, you know, we're the masters paying for it, so how about you start being a master, start firing some of these servants for being subordinate? and actually get them doing their job. So when you put this package together that I'm going to outline and hopefully get it finished tonight, for those that want to deal it up tomorrow, it'll be pretty much ready to go. Be a little bit of handwriting on your part to do and a bit of printing, so have some paper handy. I do recommend legal-size paper. Peter, what is your recommendation?
Yeah, 8.5 by 14 works good. Bonded paper, if you can find it. The whole point is, folks,
Oh, we lost you.
The whole point in the exercise is to open the door. Folks, I don't care if they don't answer. I don't care if they don't put it in the file. Now you got an open door to play ball because it's gonna be a Lucy moment. Somebody's got some explaining to do. If you got a spine, you get to go down there and ask for the freaking hazard bond for the case. And you'll be glad to settle the account upon a full certified copy of his hazard bond for the constructive trust that they started on your behalf, except they switched gears on you and stole your bond. And this is what you're not supposed to know, and this is what we're sharing with you now. Once you realize it's been a bait-and-switch thing, and then you bring your silly little blank bond papers to show that you really know what the hell you're talking about, because they've already done them up in the back room and filled them out for you. Tell them to bring the SOBs forward so you can settle the account only after Chuck E. Cheese, the DA, brings his dadgum hazard bond forward to the fray because he's committed fraud upon the court according to the Uniform Bonding Code. So, you know what? It's all smoke and mirrors, folks, and it's time to just cut through the wheat and the chaff, stand your ground, and you don't have to be argumentative. You're not asking for permission. You're not asking for consent. You're being the man because, see, a good debtor, he likes to settle his account. He takes care of his bills. But you can't settle it if you don't know that it exists. And but first of all, before you know that it exists, you got to know that he who brought the charge has to pay the bill, and he better sure as hell have bought his damn bond, put it in place. Otherwise, he's flying without a net. And it's full, unlimited commercial liability. I say this over and over, but it's how everybody's going to get the memo. And what that means on full commercial unlimited liability, see, according to their state corporation laws, so that the state doesn't take the hit if they go sideways and they cause you an injury, it protects the state from the malfeasance of that operator, that false actor, that bad actor, so it protects the state's bond, or the state, from the liability. Well, if he's flying without a net, without his bond, well, guess what? Now the state stands in full capacity to be basically whacked on a whole different level because they didn't have their agent, their bad actor, be bonded, which is the proper protocol for all 50 states under the Uniform Bonding Code. Anyways,
Peter, something else that people need to get. Once you know who you are, they are held accountable because you're starting to enter the new realms of the higher laws. We have a caller just called in, Peter, and I'd like to introduce you and everybody to Tracy.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Tracy.
Hello.
So, wow, what an ordeal tonight. I'm actually a friend of the caller that called in earlier. It's kind of too bad you guys both jumped on him, but I guess it was just going that way. I'm about the whole philosophy of the no consent to. I just want to share that. It doesn't mean I wouldn't do administrative work.
Yep.
But I don't know. I just kind of feel like there's a lot of presumptions being made that people that aren't boots on the ground. I'm boots on the ground. I don't know how much Thomas has done in that regard.
Okay, Tracy, you have to listen. If I got this one, you have to listen back to a bunch of shows. We've been talking about this for months, and we're still answering.
I know.
Hang on. And this is in defense of your friend. I need him to get this because what he has presented is absolutely where most people are, and what we have.
Can I finish? Can I finish? Because because I really think I want to make a point. Like you guys have been really kind of aggressive, a lot of testosterone. I just love you, and I was surprised because I got turned on to your site just recently. Listening to Santos for a long time, and I just caught up on all your shows, and I'm so impressed. That's why I tuned in today, and I really wanted to Skype in, and I don't have the tech expertise to do that. But anyway, holy, the way you guys started out of the gate. And I just kind of feel like you're making a lot of presumptions and assumptions that everybody's a freaking idiot and they got to do it, and you guys know, and you've been at the front line, but I was listening, and I've been at the front line too. I've been handcuffed. And I chose not to cross every, T and dot every I and necessarily do all the paperwork just yet. And I have some friends who have. And so what I want to ask you, Pete, and I want to ask you guys, are you talking about, how they've been giving us clues in the movies? Your papers, please. I don't know, maybe that was Hogan's Heroes. Is that what you're talking about, the papers that we have to have before we're going to what, survive?
No, I'm going to try to take this up to a whole new level. And, for any misunderstandings, I need people to get this. And you really have to listen back to all our shows, Tracy, because one of the things that Peter and myself and Tony were all dealing with is the same thing, and it's a very and don't take it as a testosterone thing at all. It's not. It's just we get so frustrated because we know what kind of danger people are putting themselves in. We've been there on that front line. I'm not saying that they haven't been, and this is not about making people feel like idiots. What this is about...
No, but where was the love and compassion? I just thought there wasn't love and compassion. I get that, and I think Thomas get that, and all your listeners get it, that you're trying to... But listen who's out there. Pete, listen, there's innocence, there's a depth, and people like you guys working on your masters. You're the teachers. Okay, we've got three elements that are critical here. We need the destroyer element, we need the nurture element, the mother element, because that's what this whole thing is about. Is balancing that out and the feminine, sacred, divine feminine rising in all of us. So that means first and foremost, love and compassion for where everybody's at so far, where incrementally, I deal with people all the time, they got a freaking cap on, man. It's never going to happen for them. And I hear a lot of anxiety and a lot of, I want to accuse you guys almost of being in fear. Like, you're not in fear. I know you're not in fear, but it sort of came across like you guys are in fear. Like, is that an ego thing? You don't have to say everybody. You don't have to get it through everybody's head.
Tracy.
You guys.
Tracy.
Hey, sweetie.
Don't call me sweetie. Hey, Petey, don't call me sweetie, Petey, because I heard you call Miss Muggsy sweetheart way too many times, and frankly, I find that condescending.
Somebody's got psychological issues here, Kate. Wow, hello.
Yeah, I can hold my own. But when you start to call me sweetie,
we're done with this. I'm done with this.
You know what? That shows what you got. You want some balls? That's what I'm showing you. I'm balanced too. I'm a two-spirit too.
Have you cut the Gordy?
Okay, guys, I put you both on hold, okay? You're not actually listening to what I'm saying, and I would really appreciate it just backing down a little bit. I'm trying to answer what Tracy was talking about, and I knew where this was going to go. So when Tracy mentioned about fear, she's absolutely correct, but it's fear of others being harmed. I don't want to see that. That's what you're sensing if there's anything. And I totally agree with you completely, Tracy, in that regard. What the gift that Thomas brought to the table tonight was that wonderful aspect of where people have got the fight in them, but they don't have the tools to fight with, and that's where our fear comes into play. So I'm going to make both your mics hot again. If you please just take it down a notch, okay? This is about the love, nurturing, compassion. And the thing that happens with me is my passion is that of such an intense mothering, nurturing of others to not see them get harmed. I've seen too many. I've seen too much death in my life.
Well, good, because that's part of being a mother. And I have the fierceness in me too, believe me. But part of it is instant.
Bring it down. I'll mute you both again. Bring it down.
Yep. I'm using it as a term of endearment. I don't use it as a slam.
It's not.
No, I'm saying no. I'm saying don't. I asked you not to. Sorry I jumped on you. But you know what? It doesn't come across like that, and it didn't with Sam, to tell you the truth. You might mean it that way, but it's old paradigm.
Guys, this isn't a pissing contest, okay? Can we just...
Really?
Wow. Now, actually, Tracy, I do believe that you said you were a two-spirit, yeah?
Well, what I'm saying is I'm showing some aggression, too. I'm a very feminine. When I'm with a masculine essence, then I'm more feminine. When I'm with... bullshit, I'm more masculine. I'm just saying that we're all merging our left and right brain. Yeah. And I just think what you guys are doing great, but for some reason tonight it just got really like you called Thomas Hughes a clown. And you didn't even let him really finish why he was going to say what he was going to say, because some people are locked into the system. Some people need it to live, and he might be one of them.
Tracy, that's why we're trying to get this across to people, so that if they are, we speak of both sides of the fence. If they're on one side, i.e. system, we want them to have the tools that if something happens, they have something to stand with. That's all. And those that go into Divine Providence, ones that go into Divine Providence, you know, it's not like you just carry on as normal. That's the thing, is everyone wants this drive-through truth stop, and they want everything to be fixed immediately. But we got into this drip by drip. We're going to get out of it drip by drip. And that's all.
I agree, but I don't think everybody wants a quick fix, and I don't like those generalizations of how everybody's an idiot and a clown and they're not going to listen, and you know because your boot's on the ground. And I just think that was making the assumption, because we're all suffering from PST. We've all been boots on the ground, and we've all been, you know, dealing with this for far too long. And I just don't want to see the people that are really pioneers and really doing the homework and wanting to share it with such excitement and enthusiasm for life itself, you know, go awry and start attacking each other and name calling for, you know, like that's just shitty.
No, I totally agree. And it wasn't about name calling. And again, when I hear that kind of stuff, to me it's very aloof, and only an ego can get affected by that. And I don't care. You can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for supper or too early in the morning. I'll be good. The thing is,
and let me say one more thing about him. He has telepathy with eighth dimensional beings, so he's got his own unique perspective, and he's got MS, and he's got his unique perspective about how he's going to get out of this shithole slavery situation. And so I think that's what he was trying to explain, is that's the most comfortable place for him to cope with it. I mean, you look at where people are at. Everybody's at a different place. You guys are definitely teachers. But you need to be talking to teachers, people that want to, like me, who have a blog and who want to share information and who feel compelled to do that. But we don't need to be judging anybody for anything, you know, because our ego, to tell you the truth, our ego will sneak in there along the way on our path and keep trying to own us and keep trying to think it knows.
This wasn't about judgment or anything of that nature. I'm going to go back and I'll reiterate it again, and I've said it every show. This is out of absolute compassion, knowing exactly when people don't know who they are and with what they need. And not everybody has what they need. We know that. And when they don't have what they need, and they're, you know, using lines like "I don't consent," well, they don't care until you get to a certain level of awareness.
Okay, and I agree. And not everybody has the administrative ability, and I happen to be way down that rabbit hole. I've got commercial liens going on BC Hydro with people in my community. I try all kinds of things. Sometimes I say, no, I'm not going to go down that road. I'm not going to, you know, put my energy there. So I'm all about it, and I would really like Pete or you to explain, you know, a synopsis of what the divine providence is. What exactly do people have to do? And I'm not saying there's a quick fix, that there's a lot of background, but we got a different time frame we're working with now than we were when I started. It was 10 years ago when I started. I've learned all this shit in 10 years, and now we got people that need to learn it right away, or maybe they don't. Maybe we don't worry about it.
Well, that's part of the issue too. The thing is, the feeling is, and I know you're probably on the same. I won't even assume. I have a feeling that you're on the same page. The time is short. It really is. And what's happening is this energy is compressing right now, where those of us that have been teaching for years are at a point where, you know, we've been saying the same things. We've been struggling to survive, and now we've got to where, as Tony put it, we have the Holy Grail here. We've seen what it's doing, and they haven't been able to do anything about it because of how we're doing it. It is pure truth that we're coming at these guys with. That's what we're talking about.
You know what I think the way to do it is when you expand the light, because I've analyzed this, you know, all kinds of ways too. What's the best way for me to ride this wave? And I got a 20-year-old daughter, and I got people in my community, and I've come to a place where I'm over the anxiety of feeling like somehow it's my responsibility, because I know some shit, to wake people up that I love or care about or live beside me. And I work on expanding the light, and that means information. That means empowering information, but not with an element of fear where people can't cope with the time it would take to learn all the things you've learned in 20 years. You know, like, that's the thing. Like, maybe who we're talking to now are the people that are attracted to this light, not the people that are afraid of it. And that's what we're doing, is we're finding a tribe. We're meeting up with each other, and we're sharing, because here we are in, 60 days to some potential event. We don't know.
Okay, Tracy, just a sec. We got 2 minutes left here, and I do want to say a couple of things before we wrap this up tonight. First,
you did. I didn't realize we were that far into it. Well, thanks for letting me on.
No, no worries. 2 hours goes like that with this show. I'd love to hear from Thomas one-on-one, and I do want to say thank you for what he brought to the table tonight, because what he did was he made it able for us to convey to those that are still at that point where they think that consent is where it's at. Yes, it is, but you've got to know who you are, where you are.
Absolutely, and I think he does. So let's not assume people don't. Let's find out. Let's let them share before we jump on them. Let's let them share, because we learn from each other.
I agree with that totally, and I actually say the same thing back. Allow us to share if there's something that we've already discovered, and we are at a point where we are literally desperate to help people. That's where we're at.
I get it. I get it. I'm with you.
I want to ask one question. Have you watched Changes on the Horizon?
Me? No.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Then you need to go to my site and watch Changes on the Horizon. It'll give you a paradigm shift in about an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, well, I'm pretty shifted, but I'll go there right away, Pete. I would love to. Thanks for the invite.
And we are in.
Okay. Make sure she gets our site. It's open. It's open-ended for everybody to get into the videos section. And she, if she hasn't watched Vatican Owns Your Soul by Santos, that would be a good overview to watch as well.
Absolutely.
Hey, I've watched all his stuff, but I'll go to your site. What is it?
Guys, I gotta wrap it up. Guys, we got 20 seconds.
Bye.
I got to wrap it up.
Bye.
We'll chat off air afterwards. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to Outside the Box. I'm your host, Kid of Gaia. It was a wild ride. Peter, thank you so much. Tony, Aaron, Thomas, thank you for calling in. Great perspective. And Tracy, love you all. Have a great night.
Thank you, Kate.
Love you all.
God bless. Good night.